So I was in the Marine Corps for a little over 20 years. When I retired, I was a company first sergeant. So I had a company of a little over 300 Marines that reported to me. And in the civilian side, I say I was a glorified HR business partner. But there were a lot more things that kind of intertwined with that, with the operational side and things like that. So that's, for the most part, for the last, 3 or 4 years is what I did in the Marine Corps. Been all over the world, seen a lot of places, some sandy places. It's been the normal military 20-year career. Being in the military, you learn how to be, reliable and dependable and those things that everyone needs. So that's kind of helped me going to the direction that I'm going in now with, starting a business, because having something that's yours, you're dependent on yourself, for vending machines that people rely on you to fill them, they expect, your products to be great. And as a military member, the U.S. expected me to be great. They expected me to, be in those sandy places whenever the call was being called.
I actually did about 6 years with Home Depot. I was in the corporate life for a while and realized that probably wasn't what I wanted to do until I was 65, especially since I was already retired. Had a lady that was kind of a headhunter for franchises and stuff like that. And she did a very thorough, in-depth research, asked us questions, and gave us Naturals2Go as an option for that. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that in the military, I'd have a decent retirement, and I wanted to use that as my backup to get into business myself. So this was just a walk in and ready for us to go for it.
Well, a funny story, ever since I was little, I always liked business. Growing up, I would go to my neighbor next door, neighbor across the street. And, before there was DoorDash, I would, ride on my bicycle and I would ask him, do you guys need anything from the store? I'm going to this place. And they would, yes. Can you get me this? Can you buy me this? And, I will come and bring it to them and, I would get a tip and, I feel rewarded. But at the same time, I always used to like, watching war movies and, my passion, I want to be a soldier, especially around Christmas time when I would see the Marines in their uniforms running for Toys for Tots. In my mind, I want to be one of those, Marines when I grow up. And right after high school, I joined the Marine Corps and I enrolled myself into college, Hawaii Pacific University, and I started taking business classes because, I was thinking in the back of my head, some of my senior leaders, they would tell me, enjoy, your time in the service, but this doesn't last forever. You're going to have to prepare yourself and you got to start now and see what's going to happen in the future. I've been looking for, several companies where I can still have a full-time job and at the same time, I'm, able to have a business. And next thing you know, they got me through the whole process and that's where I stand now.